Every morning, just as the sun began to rise over the quiet village of Willowbrook, Clara sat on the stone bench outside her little cottage. The first rays of sunlight painted the rolling hills in soft gold, and the dew on the grass sparkled like tiny jewels. Birds chirped their morning songs, and the faint scent of blooming lavender from her garden mixed with the crisp, clean air. The village itself was a postcard of tranquility, with its cobblestone streets, flower boxes spilling over with vibrant blooms, and chimneys that puffed lazy curls of smoke as households prepared for the day ahead. Clara always woke early, savoring the stillness before the world stirred. She loved the routine, her cup of chamomile tea, the rhythmic hum of bees visiting the lavender, and the gentle breeze that carried the promise of a new day. But what made her mornings truly special was the moment she saw the cheerful blue bakery van winding its way down the hill. Its distinct engine hum broke the silence like a friendly greeting, a sound Clara had come to cherish. She wasn't waiting for the sunrise or the fresh bread that came with the van. She was waiting for Nathan, for the way his smile seemed to brighten the world around him, and for the small moments they shared, which felt like treasures in her otherwise quiet life. The bench by her cottage had become her favorite place, not for the view, but for the anticipation of seeing him, her reason to rise with the dawn. For as long as she could remember, the bakery van had been a comforting sight in the village. It would roll through the cobblestone streets, its cheerful blue paint glinting in the morning light, delivering fresh bread and pastries to eager residents. Yet for Clara, the van carried more than just warm croissants. It carried Nathan. Nathan had taken over the bakery route from his father the previous spring. Tall and kind-eyed, with a dimpled smile that made Clara's heart skip, Nathan had quickly become the highlight of her mornings. At first, it was just a friendly wave as he passed. Then it became a quick exchange of pleasantries when she bought her daily loaf of sourdough. But lately, Clara had started to notice the way his smile lingered, the way his voice softened when he spoke to her. This morning, Clara had baked a batch of lavender scones, her specialty. She planned to offer him one, just as a friendly gesture. As she waited, her fingers fiddled with the ribbon on the small basket she had prepared, nerves bubbling beneath her excitement. The faint hum of the van's engine broke through the quiet, and Clara's heart leapt. The blue van rounded the corner, slowing as it approached her cottage. Nathan leaned out of the driver's window, his face lighting up when he saw her. "Good morning, Clara," he called out, parking the van and hopping down. His apron was dusted with flour, and his hair was slightly tousled, a charming combination Clara had grown fond of. "Morning, Nathan," she replied, holding up the basket. "I made these this morning. Thought you might like to try one." Nathan's eyes widened in surprise and delight. "Lavender scones, you made these?" She nodded, her cheeks warming. "It's a family recipe. I thought you might enjoy them after your early start." Nathan took one, biting into it with a hum of approval. "Clara, this is incredible. You might put me out of business." She laughed, feeling a spark of joy at his praise. For a moment, they stood in the soft morning light, sharing stories about recipes and baking disasters. The conversation flowed as easily as the gentle breeze. Nathan leaned casually against the van, and Clara found herself captivated by the way his eyes crinkled when he laughed. As Nathan prepared to leave, he hesitated. "Clara," he began, scratching the back of his neck. "There's a fair in the next town this weekend. They'll have all sorts of pastries and bread contests. Would you like to come with me?" Clara's heart soared. "I'd love to," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies. She couldn't help but smile as he climbed back into the van, her fingers brushing over the ribbon on the basket as she watched him drive away. The week leading up to the fair was filled with stolen moments of joy. Clara baked endlessly, testing new recipes and imagining the look on Nathan's face when he tasted them. She'd catch herself daydreaming by the kitchen window, her mind replaying their conversations and the way his laughter seemed to light up the morning. Nathan, meanwhile, found every excuse to linger during his deliveries. He'd ask Clara for advice on flavors or share stories about his father's bakery, the way he learned to knead dough as a boy. Each interaction felt like a thread weaving their lives together. By the end of every visit, neither wanted the moment to end. On the day of the fair, Clara chose a simple lavender dress that matched the delicate color of her scones. She met Nathan by the bakery van, her nerves melting the moment he greeted her with his familiar dimpled smile. The fairgrounds buzzed with life, rows of stalls bursting with color, the air alive with the aroma of baked goods and cheerful laughter. Nathan and Clara strolled through the crowd, sampling treats and sharing shy glances. Nathan stopped at a flower vendor, buying Clara a single bloom and tucking it behind her ear. His fingers lingered against her cheek, sending a rush of warmth through her. "Perfect," he said softly, stepping back to admire her. When they reached the contest tent, Nathan surprised her by entering one of her lavender scones. Clara gasped, her eyes wide. "Nathan, you didn't tell me you were going to do that." He grinned, his eyes sparkling. "They deserve to win, Clara, just like you deserve to be recognized." The judges tasted the scones, their faces lighting up as they praised the delicate flavor and unique twist. When they announced her as the winner, Clara's breath caught. Nathan cheered the loudest, his pride written all over his face. "I knew you'd win," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "You're amazing, Clara." As the sun set, the fairgrounds sparkled with string lights. Nathan led Clara to a quiet corner near the riverbank, where the soft murmur of water added to the magic. Fireflies danced in the air, their glow matching the warmth in Clara's chest. "Clara," Nathan began, taking her hand, "this week has been the best I've had in years. And it's all because of you." She looked at him, her heart racing. "Nathan, you've made every morning something to look forward to." He smiled, leaning closer. "Then let's make sure every morning stays that way." Under the glow of the fair lights and endless stars, their first kiss was as sweet and warm as the pastries they both loved. Time seemed to stand still as they lingered in that quiet moment, surrounded by the gentle hum of the fair and the flicker of fireflies. Clara felt a joy she hadn't known before, a sense of belonging and possibility she hadn't dared to dream of. As they walked back through the fairgrounds, hand in hand, they stopped to admire the remaining stalls. Nathan bought a bag of candied almonds, insisting they share them on the walk back to the van. Clara found herself laughing at his playful banter, the sound of her laughter mingling with the night air. When they reached her cottage, Nathan hesitated by the garden gate, the soft glow of the porch light framing Clara like a portrait. "I'll see you tomorrow morning," he asked, though his tone made it clear he wasn't ready to leave. Clara smiled. "You'd better. You still have deliveries to make, remember?" Nathan chuckled, his hand brushing hers one last time before stepping back. "Good night, Clara." The next morning, the bakery van's familiar hum brought a new kind of anticipation. Nathan's delivery wasn't just bread, it was a promise of shared moments, of smiles exchanged over warm pastries, and of a love that grew with each passing day. In the weeks that followed, they found reasons to extend their conversations, to linger in each other's company a little longer. The villagers began to notice the change. "You two are like something out of a romance novel," Mrs. Hartley, the florist, teased one morning. Clara blushed, but Nathan just grinned, unabashed. "Maybe we are," he replied, his gaze never leaving Clara. Months turned into seasons, and the routine of their mornings transformed into shared dinners, late-night strolls, and plans for the future. The bench outside Clara's cottage, once a place of waiting, became a place of togetherness. Nathan would often sit beside her after his route, sharing stories and dreaming of the bakery they could one day run together. "Imagine," he said one evening, "a bakery filled with your lavender scones, my father's recipes, and our new creations. It could be a place where everyone feels as happy as I do when I'm with you." Clara's eyes shone with tears of happiness. "I think that's the sweetest thing you've ever said." Under the stars, they planned their future, a future that started with a humble delivery route and blossomed into something neither had expected. And as the seasons passed, the blue bakery van continued its journey through Willowbrook, carrying not just bread and pastries, but the story of a love that grew stronger with each sunrise and every loaf. Loved Clara and Nathan's story? Subscribe to Glowing Stories for more heartwarming tales that brighten your day.